So in that last video, you know, about the fish and the Folgers can, get me. That was when I was in elementary school. I consider elementary school to be up through 5th grade. I know some people consider it 6th grade, but right in there. It got me thinking about my early days in elementary school, and I have not thought about those days in years. So this other story came to mind that I wanted to tell just really quickly, and I may come across as the bad guy in this story. You can be the judge of that. I don't know. But if I do come across as the bad guy in this story, then it is the only time in elementary school, especially like 1st through 3rd grade, that I could have ever been considered the bad guy. So here's what happened. Here's just the way it went. I had been at this school from 1st grade through 3rd grade, and I had developed a reputation. I was the goody two-shoes. If the teacher said jump, I said how high. She puts work on the board. I got it done before a lot of people take their paper out because I am just doing what they asked me to do. Mainly because I'm very insecure. I'm terrified of getting in trouble with the teacher. Terrified. So I never acted out. Never talked in class. Never did anything that the teacher would not want me to do. Did this in 1st grade. Did this in 2nd grade. Never got in trouble. Not one time. And made straight A's in 1st and 2nd grade. So my reputation is in the school. The teachers talk, you know, and they say, well, this guy, he's a good guy. Let's get to 2nd grade. Oh, and then I do well in 2nd grade like that. And then so I get to 3rd grade. And the story I'm going to tell you about happened in 3rd grade. And some of this will make you think, man, this was the late 80s when I tell you about some of it. But anyway, so I get to my 3rd grade teacher, and I did not do as well with my 3rd grade teacher. For some reason, it seemed like she didn't like me sometimes, but and that made me even more scared to do anything that would upset her. I tried my best to please her no matter what, so I'm not going to act out. And I had this reputation all through 3rd grade. Now, this is like toward the end of my 3rd grade year. And our assistant teacher, you know, back sometimes in elementary school, you'd have assistant teachers. Our assistant teacher, I remember her name. I'll say it because I know she was never going to know. Her name was Miss King, was her name. So she did not, she liked me fine. There was no issue ever between she and I. And so she would be the one in the afternoon who would take us out at recess. And we'd have recess from like 1:30 to 2:30 right before the end of the day. She would be the one that takes us out, and she'd sit with the other teachers up there in the teacher's chair, let everybody play. Now, this is a time when we're in 3rd grade, and we're allowed to play tackle football within the view of the teachers. I mean, tackle football. No pads, nothing. Not two-hand touch. And when I went to the school, the other school the next year, in the 4th grade, when I went to the other town, they were very strict. No tackle football, only two-hand touch. But for some reason, at this school, in the 3rd grade, we were allowed to go down there and knock the living daylights out of each other playing tackle football. And I've always been very athletic, at least somewhat. And so I was picked for a team pretty often. I hated getting hit, though. But here's where things come to a head. Let me just give you just a tad of background. There's this one kid who is friends with a guy who I'm friends with. Now, he has been friends. It turns out they had been in the 2nd grade class together, and I'm in the 3rd grade class with this person. And so this kid keeps coming up and saying, no, he's my friend. He's my real friend. We were in class. We go way back. We were in 2nd grade together. I know this sounds absurd, but this is what he's saying. Like, we went all through 2nd grade together. I gave him $1 one time. He is my friend. He is not your friend. And he was getting upset because this guy now is in the 3rd grade. He's in my class. And he's letting me, we're playing together. We're playing football, whatever, out there. We're playing at recess. He's getting very jealous. And so I won't ever forget this. This is the only fight other than that baseball fight, which you can go and look at. I talked about it. But this is the only fight, like punching fight, I have ever been in, and it was in the 3rd grade, and I would call it a draw. But we'll get to that. Now, you can tell me if I'm wrong, and I probably was a little bit, but just hear me out. Let me finish. So, to condense it very, very much, there had been all this arguing between that guy and my friend and his friend, and basically it got to be between me and him. He'd be like, no, he's my friend. No, he's my friend. No, he's my friend. And he got so mad that he was playing with me. He just took it upon himself to hurt me. And one day we're on like the playground, the slides and all that, and he just comes back behind me and just goes boom and just hits me. I don't know what to do about this. Nobody's ever done this. So I take it. It hurt a little bit. I was in 3rd grade, so I just go and sit by myself. I don't go tell the teacher. Just go and sit by myself. And dude, who's supposed to be my friend too, he goes and plays with his old friend from way back in the day, 2nd grade, the last year. This came to a head one day. We were playing tackle football out in the yard, and there's a kick. Wasn't a kickoff. I don't remember if it was a completed pass or it was a run, or like, is this a scrum? And then there's a fumble. People are in there hitting each other, throwing each other. There's no referee out there with a flag. There was people just throwing each other, hitting each other, whatever, in this tackle football. Now, I didn't go completely over the top, but if there were referees, there would have been several unnecessary roughness penalties called. But this kid, he sees me. He's playing too. He's on the opposite team. The kid who is both of our friends, he is on my team. But this happens. I'm on the opposite team as this guy who just hates me. He hates me. He's come to me before and said, I hate you. I hate you. And when you're in 3rd grade, that's like saying F you. You know, that is harsh language. And he has told me that before. And I went off on him this day before this happened, before this event happened. I had just lost it. And I said, I don't know why anybody would want to be your friend. I hate you. Nobody likes you. Why would anybody ever want to be your friend? And so we had this altercation. And for me, that is out of character. Like, I just lost it and went off. And so the ball gets fumbled. And so I dive on the ball. And it's going down a hill because we're playing on like a slanted thing. So the ball's going down a hill. I dive on the ball, holding the ball. And I'm rolling and rolling. And while I'm rolling, I stop rolling, and then this kid comes up, and he does this. He puts an elbow straight into my stomach. Obviously, it knocked the breath out of me. I thought I might be dying. I laid on that ground, could not move. The game goes on. They don't care about anything. The game is going on around me, and there are people running. I'm just laying there. And then finally, one kid, after about 3 or 4 minutes of me not moving, just laying there, trying to breathe, one other kid who has not been involved in anything so far, who's playing football, comes over and says, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I remember this, I can still see this image in my head. I remember looking up like this on the ground. I said, "Yeah, just let me lay here. Just let me lay here. Just let me lay here, please. Just let me lay here." So I lay on the ground for the next 10 minutes, not moving. Now, again, no teacher has come over here. They're still playing the football game. Tackle football is going on around me. No teacher has thought, hey, that kid's on the ground. He hadn't moved for 10, 15 minutes. Maybe somebody should go check on him. None of that. They're playing football. They're good. This is how different school was back then. Anyway, so I finally get my breath back. Finally, after 10, 15 minutes, I get my breath back. I get up. I go over and sit down on a piece of concrete that's also in the football field, because, you know, you need a big piece of concrete somewhere on your football field to make it a real field. So I sit down on this piece of concrete. Dude comes over again. And I was not going to escalate because, you know, I mean, I'm telling you, I was not a kid who was going to step out of line. If I could avoid it at all, I was not going to escalate. Like, people who fought to me in school were like, oh my gosh, they are one step from hell. These people, no, that's horrible. So anyway, I'm sitting there and dude comes up again and he's like, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. He's just talking crap straight to my face. And I'm just now getting my breath back. I'm sitting there where he had just literally elbowed me with all of his body weight in the stomach when I'm laying on the ground. So I'm hurting, but I'm getting back. Still running his mouth. I stood up and I knocked the living crap out of this guy. I stood up and went boom hit dude in the face. That's the only time I've ever did a square punch without, I mean, I've knocked him in the face, punched him in the face. He stumbles back. He has this look in his eye like, I cannot believe that he just did that he just hit me in the face. But I did. It's the only time I've ever just stood up and just hit somebody. So he's holding his face. He's like, I'm going to go tell. I'm going to go tell. I'm telling on you. Now, keep in mind all the stuff that's led up to this. Him telling me that I'm a terrible person. Him telling me before I told him that he didn't understand why anybody wanted to be my friend. Basically, I'm a piece of trash. Nobody likes me. And to top it off, he has done the people's elbow into my stomach when I'm laying there, totally, just laying out, just totally helpless. So all that stuff has led up to this. And I stood up and I knocked him in the face. Only time I've ever done that to anyone, just unprovoked. I mean, it wasn't unprovoked, but you know what I mean. Just stood up and while he was talking trash and just smacked him. So he says, I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell. I said, go tell. I don't care. Go tell. Do it. So he goes to tell. He goes the 75 yards up to where the teachers are sitting up there all together and have not noticed me, the kid, on the ground for 15 minutes. So he goes all the way up there. He tells them, and I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to call me out there. And I'm a little scared, but I have so much rage, too, in me at this point that it's kind of tempering some of the fear of getting in trouble. But I don't know what's going to happen. So I just sit there. I'm still sitting on this piece of concrete here in the middle of the football field. And finally, after a while, after he's walked all the way up there, talked to the teacher, he and a couple of others come down and say, hey, Miss King wants to talk to you. Okay. So I get up. We all walk up there. Miss King's sitting there. And she says, he said that you've been telling him that nobody would ever want to be his friend. Is that true? And I said, no, ma'am, that's not true. Because what I had said to him was, I don't understand why anyone would want to be your friend. I did not say, I don't understand why anybody would ever want to be your friend, you see. So technically, I told the truth. And I said, no, I did not say that. I didn't say that. And he said, and he says that you all got in a fight and you punched him in the face. And she's not talking like this. That's what he said. He said, you punched him in the face. And I said, no, ma'am. He said, did you punch him in the face? I said, no, ma'am. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, it wasn't a punch so much as this part of my knuckles, like right here, that hit him in the face. And it was more, over toward the side, got some of his head. So I wouldn't really call it the face. I'm justifying this in my head. And so I said, no, I didn't hit him in the face. I don't know what he's talking about. And the guy's face is just like, he cannot believe this. Because he knows I did just knock him in the face, and he knows I essentially said what he said, even though I didn't say it word for word. And so he's constantly, yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did say that. He did hit me in the face. He did. I promise. I promise he did. And she looked at me, did you do that? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And she says, I have known Brett this whole year, and he has never done anything wrong. And I'm just going to say that he's telling the truth. I'm just going to say he's telling the truth. And she comes up and says, I have known world champion this whole year, and nothing. He's never done anything wrong. I cannot think of one thing that he has done wrong this whole year. And he's like, but he did. He did do that. And she gets on to him. No. Brett said he didn't. World champion said he didn't. Let it go. Go on about your business. Get out of here. So that's it. Did you tell me that's the one? I could have been the bad guy. Up for debate. Let me know. Could have been the bad guy. Up for debate. Let me know.